I was wondering if you have this as well. I was in conversation with Amy Johnson when we recorded for her podcast, and during the podcast, I was saying about when people say to you that wonderful phrase, "Oh, just be yourself." Have you ever heard that phrase said to you, and it's kind of stopped you in your tracks, where you've been like, "I have no idea what that is, what that looks like. What do you mean, be myself? How on earth do I do that?" Have you had that as well? Like, I would love to know I'm not the only one if this is the case. So be it if I am. But yeah, it really struck me from that conversation with Amy how often I've heard that phrase and literally like been stumped, going, yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't know what being myself is. And so certainly I have no idea how to do that. I don't even know what it is, never mind how to. Step one is a major block. What do you mean, be myself? It just didn't compute. Did not compute. I wonder if you're the same. So in hindsight, it's really made sense for a couple of reasons. One is a guess, and I don't know if this is totally true. If you're a human design expert, I'd love to hear from you. Um, my guess is that part of the reason is because I've got an open heart center or will center, which I believe is part of being in an experience of, yeah, being uncertain about who you are. I'm not really sure about who I am. And so that question would have been understandably met with, what do you mean, be myself? I don't know who that is. But the other aspect I think that creates this confusion with that statement is because of all the conditioning that we've collected. So if you think about it, so what's just come to mind is like an innocent child who is born in the world knowing who they are. They don't know it consciously. They're just being it. There's no question of being themselves. No baby has that question. Am I being myself right now in requesting this milk? But just the expression of life. And so there's this pure natural essence of who we are, just automatically, without effort, without thought. It's just there. And then because we've collected all these ideas, layer of idea about how we should be and what those people think is acceptable and what these people think is acceptable and how you should be in that context and this context. And because if we've taken all that on as necessary for how I have to be, who I have to be, then layer of all of that means it's understandable we've lost sight of how to be ourselves. Because now, when somebody comes and says, "Oh, just be yourself," it's like, "Oh, well, which version?" Because for this person, I'm like that, and for that person, I'm like that, and in this context, I'm like that, and over here, I'm like that. And but if that happened, then I'd be like that. So we're lost in this like myriad of possibilities of what being myself means. So no wonder somebody coming and saying, "Huh, just be yourself," is confusing. Because if we've been navigating by the layers and by the kind of rules of how to be with different people in different circumstances and different contexts, if that's been our navigation system, we have completely lost sight of and sense of who we naturally are, what being myself naturally is like, because that's been hidden. That's still there as your essence, but it's been hidden behind all these layers of ideas collected over the years. And so, yeah, makes perfect sense that that statement, just be yourself, meets with a blank look and a gaping mouth of wonder. What is that then? How do I do that? So, yeah, I'd love to hear. Is this your experience too? And if so, how have you engaged with it? How have you moved forward from that? If you're feeling more like yourself now, what's been your journey? Because for me, it's had to be a journey of excavation. It's had to be a journey of coming in and in and in through all those layers of collected ideas back to the essence. And who knows if I'm right there or if I'll ever get right there. Certainly feel the damn sight closer. And it's only been possible by stripping away, although it's not really a stripping away, but let's just go with that, stripping away the layers of stuff that I've been trying to navigate and be me through all these supposed right ways to be. That's been the misalignment journey. And the realignment has been the coming back to the essence, but only through the dropping of the layers. It was like impossible to just go straight to what's being myself. So yeah, I'd love to hear what's your experience like. And if you're feeling like you want to be dropping some layers and returning to your aligned essence, then do come to the Enlightenment event. It's absolutely designed for that, with all different ways of supporting the dropping of the layers so that you can actually, when somebody says just be yourself, you can go, yes, I know what that feels like. I still can't necessarily do it on demand, but I at least know what that feels like. I know what being myself feels like. It's such a nice place to be. Lots of love. I look forward to seeing you soon.